Welcome to Off the Rails Tech, and this is the third video in the Django series. In this video we're going to dive a little bit deeper into views, and we're going to use a CSS framework to make the site look a little nicer. But first, as always, a little bit of cleanup from last week. So the way it goes with Off the Rails Tech, I don't do really heavily scripted stuff, so I make mistakes and I do things on the fly, and it's a little fluid, and that's the way I like it. So first thing, I'm going to name this restaurants plural, since this is getting a list of all the restaurants, just to make it nice and clear for myself. That should be the only two places that we need to fix it. And something I kind of glossed over last week, so this objects.all obviously is going to get everything in the table. And objects.filter is going to filter and give you anything that matches this. But this objects.get, it's kind of like filter, except with .get, you can only return one record. If this .get found more than one record, it would error. And that's kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in the series, which is why I like to have a slug field be unique, true. We changed this one to false so that we could have pretty URLs. We're going to actually have to do a little bit of work here, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to make one more change over here. We're going to make a third view. I'm going to rename this one too. It's going to get a little lengthy, but dishes view is not listing all of the dishes from all of the restaurants. So just for the sake of being a little more clear, I'm going to call this single restaurant dishes view. So we're getting all the dishes from a single restaurant. And we're going to do that. Save. And we're going to come over here. Actually, before we do that, let's fix. So basically, when we go to grab, when we build the view for a single, here, I'm kind of stumbling here, but anyway, well, let's do a single, I don't think we need the word single. Let's just do dish view. So this is going to be, we could throw in single, why not? Single dish view. So this view is going to be for a single dish. Now we're going to have to do something similar where we get the single dish, but if you remember back here, our dishes do not have a unique slug anymore. So we're going to have to do something to fix that. So basically what we're going to do is, let me go back over here. We're going to create two slug fields. One is going to be just for the URLs, making it look pretty, and one is going to be a unique slug field, which is going to help us with that get request there. Now Django's a little funny when you do those make migrations and migrate, especially when you're using live data. You have real data in your database. Granted, we don't have much in our database now, but yeah, I'm going to do this multiple steps just to ensure that there are no errors. Hopefully there's no errors. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to return this slug field to being unique equals true. So you can see I'm in my little virtual environment here. So I'm going to do Python manage. I'm going to make migrations. And all I did was change this back to true. That should be okay. Actually, let's double check real quick. Run server. We should have no slugs that are where this would be a problem. That basically there would be a conflict. We can check that in our admin. If we look under dishes, we have clam chowder, barbecue wings, and Hawaiian pizza. All these are the slugs that are displaying here, so nothing duplicate. So we're fine to go ahead and run make migrations. Make migrations. Migrate. Now I'm going to make a new field and I'll call it URL slug. And this is going to be models.slug equals false. So what I'm going to end up with is two slug fields. Right, we're going to have two slug fields, one that has to be unique and one that does not have to be unique. Go ahead and do another make migrations. And I'm just going to provide a one-off value. Now you would have to be very careful here, because if we were doing this on a field where unique equaled true, and you provided a one-off value here, and it was, obviously going to be the same for every record, you're going to run into problems. But since we're not doing that, we don't have to worry. And we're just going to call this replace me, and we'll fix it in the admin. Migrate. And let's run the server. And we're going to have to do a little cleanup here. Now we have our slug and our URL slug. Now our URL slug is actually going to be what we currently have for the slug. And then the slug, which is the one that has to be unique so that we can use those get objects, those objects get on it. I'm going to throw the restaurant name in front. This is the skipper. Clam chowder is the dish. Save. Just have to do that 2 more times. This is Ember. Gonna be just barbecue wings. Then we'll have to do the Hawaiian pizza. And Ember. And this is going to become, this is going to become very apparent of why I'm doing this pretty soon, if you're not quite getting it yet. So now in our views, we have a single dish view. Basically what we're going to have to do is, just like we're getting the restaurant instance from the keyword arguments in URL, so we're passing this restaurant variable here, and then we're just grabbing it. We're going to do the same with the dish, and then we're going to basically have to take those two variables, marry them together, and paste them together to get the what would be the real slug and not the URL slug, so that we can perform an object's get and make sure that we're only getting back the single record that we want. So let's do a dish instance. I don't think we need this. instance. I think we can do this in one line. It's going to be a bit tricky, but we'll try it. Let's do dish instance. It's going to be dish objects get. Slug is going to be keyword arguments restaurant plus dash, right? Because we're going to have a dash after the restaurant. Then we're going to do plus keyword arguments dish. We're going to have to build this in the URLs. Then we're going to go dish equal dish objects. We don't need this. We just need the dish instance. So we're only just displaying a single dish. And we'll just call it dish. Single which we'll have to build. So if this works, and I'm not sure it will, if not, we'll do a little kind of pasting above here, and then you'll see if it comes to that. Hopefully this works though. Now we have to go to our URLs, and we're gonna have to do restaurant slash dish. Single dish. Right, so we're passing in the restaurant, we're passing in the dish, and we're taking that restaurant, we're adding a hyphen, we're adding the dish afterwards, which should line up with exactly how we have our slug field, which is restaurant hyphen dish. Slug equals yes, yes. Need that URL slug field? I'm not sure we even need that field. Maybe. I'm going to leave it for now. So we have to build a single dish. So let's just do copy and paste. Single dish. And there's not going to be a for loop because we're not going to need a for loop since we're just doing dish. Leave all that there. We'll do another P. We'll just do dish comment. Ah, what's going on? All right. I don't know. This should all. Okay. Now we have to do. Yes, here's where that URL slug is going to come in. So we do need that. I just thought of it, right? We'll make a link. Restaurant. Restaurant slug dash dish URL slug. Right, so this will be our link. It will be restaurant slug a dash dish URL slug. And that will line up over here. We'll have restaurant, oop, not slash, made a mistake, didn't I? That was in dish slash. Right. And then in the views, yes. I think this will work. I don't know. We'll give it a go. Go back over to our, here we have our link. You can see at the bottom left hand corner of the browser, we have the skipper chowder house / clam chowder. And it did not match the query. So did not like this line. Okay, I think that's just because it doesn't like doing here. Maybe if I change this. I'm going to try one more thing to get this in one line. This is going to look a little funny probably, but I think it will work. I hope. Okay, so basically these curly brackets here, they're basically a placeholder for a variable inside a string, or not a variable, but just anything after this dot format. So the first little curly bracket pair is going to resolve to keywords argument restaurant, and the second curly bracket is going to resolve to keyword argument dish, hopefully. All right, this cleared for us over here. I think this will probably work, but we'll find out. Let's go back over here. Let's go to Ember this time. Let's go to barbecue wings. There we go. And we got it. There's our comment. There's our rating. And there's our kind of third and final view. So we start off with the root of the list of all the restaurants. Click on a restaurant and you get a list of all the dishes you had there. And then you can click on a dish to drill down further and you can get comments. So now we're going to start to hopefully make this site look a little nicer. Because right now it kind of looks like junk. But okay. So we're going to use a CSS framework. The most popular CSS framework by far is probably Bootstrap. You can feel free to use it. I think it's overused a lot. I mean, it has some beautiful looking stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. You know, but I think it's a little bit bloated. I don't know. I don't like it, to be honest. I don't like, you know, you come here and it's like installation, npm install, like gem install, like what the hell, gem? That's a Ruby thing, isn't it? And then over here you go, oh, if I just want the CSS, I can link to it. It just seems way more complicated than it needs to be for a CSS framework. So I'm going to skip that. Pure CSS is one that I've used before. That's really nice. It's pretty minimal. You still can make some really great looking sites. It has lots of you know, tables and forms and buttons. But one I've been using lately that I want to use for this is actually called Ink. So I've already downloaded it, and yeah, I really like it a lot. One of the things I love about Ink is it's just you go to the main site and right here you click on UI elements and it just has everything right here, and the instructions are very clear as to how to use it, with lots of examples. And then it's even got some nice JavaScript components too, like a date picker, which I've used on some of the things I've done, where you can, you know, have nice little date pickers here. You can change the format. Yeah, anyway, I like it. I like it a lot. So that's what I'm going to use. So I already downloaded this. I just put it here. So let's go ahead and unzip it. And I'm just gonna not worry about the version and call this Ink. Now this is gonna have to go, let's dump it into video tutorials, and we're gonna make a new folder. We're gonna probably have to tell Django about it, but this is gonna be static. So this is where all our static content's gonna go. Actually, this is going to probably end up inside the restaurants folder. So we have our templates, and we have static. And static's where you usually put like a CSS or JavaScript. In fact, CSS here. Now we have a folder called static CSS Ink yes, and then Ink CSS. So we're gonna have to include this in our base HTML. We're gonna want to include it rather. Gonna copy this. Definitely keep in here and copy the blank line. And instead of that, we're going to do static CSS inc CSS inc dot CSS. Go to settings. See, the static URL is just slash static. It should pick this up, but we'll see. It might not. Go back to base HTML real quick. So, you should notice a little bit of a change just without even doing anything. If we just reload the page, if it picks up the CSS, I don't think it's picking up the CSS. Let's yeah, 404 not found. So it does not find our static file. It's not finding static CSS inc CSS. For whatever reason. Well, off the rails. That's what this is. So let's do Django. Static. Settings, maybe. Figure this out very quickly. Files, static root. Default, none. I think this is our problem. We don't have static root. Do a static URL. So pretty sure this is the problem. Static root equals something similar like we did up here with the templates. This way, if we end up moving this to a different folder, if you have hard-coded paths, it becomes, especially if you're developing on one computer and you're deploying to another, chances are the paths aren't going to be the same. So that's why I do this instead of a hard-coded path. I'm going to go ahead and break this and let's see if that fixed it. Still not found. Huh. Well, you know what? I think I have another project I can reference, something I was working on. A little finance app that I was building. Let me just quickly dive into here. Sorry for the sidetrack here. Okay, I got it, guys. It's not static root. What I want to do is static files directories. Static files directories. And then this. This I think will work. There we go. You notice that it changed. So we're picking up our static, and you can see that we have a HTTP OK. So yeah. So now let's just dive right in and start using this ink kit a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably add some gutters. So you can see you have div class all 50, and it basically, where are the gutters though? The class all 50. Horizontal gutters, column group. I don't know. These 50% are not the gutters. These are the dividing space, right? So you're dividing it 50-50, like you have your site in two large columns. But let's do like a div class, something like this, right? So let's go back to our base. And div class column group. Instead of this all 50, let's actually get rid of this div. This class, and what was it? All 50. We're gonna bump that 50 up because 50 is not good. Like, I don't know, 90. Div and div. Sorry, I'm just trying to make it look a little nicer. All right. Reload our site. It didn't do anything. Div and div. Don't have this. All right, there we go. Restaurant list. Fix this up a little bit more. Actually build a nav bar. real quick. I'm just gonna grab menus. We'll grab this. Why not? Back in our base. Navbar goes here. This. Restaurant list. That. There, now we have a little navbar with only one thing on it, but it's okay. Go to restaurants. Enter. Cleaning it up a little bit. Let's throw this in a table maybe, or a list. I don't know. Let's see what this has got for lists. Thinking maybe a table. Maybe we'll stick with a list for now, actually. Do maybe like a unstyled list. No, unstyled. This, and we get rid of this E, cut this there, get rid of these. Well, I didn't do a hell of a lot. I just bumped this up barely. yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. We added this view. Something went wrong here. The Ember works fine. What is wrong with the skipper? Matching query. Query we're sending it. We'll just resolve this and then I'm going to end this video. Why is it doing the skipper dash? No, the skipper chowder house clam chowder. Clam chowder. That's incorrect. That's why. The skipper should be chowder house. Chowder house. There we are. That will fix it. These slugs, I think next video we're going to get into forms. We're going to build basically some forms over here on this side. Maybe we'll add something else to our menu here, to our nav bar, like add a restaurant, and then another one called add a dish. When we build the forms, we don't want to leave it up to the users to fill in these slugs. So these are going to be auto-generated so that mistakes like that can't get made. Fixed it though. I wonder if it's cached or something. I have to just redo the server here real quick. If I hover over it, the skipper, chowder house clam chowder should work. Matching query does not exist. Skipper, chowder. Oh, duh. That is the full. Jeez, it's late, guys. It's been a rough week. Yeah, there we go. We could maybe make this something, something a little bit nicer with our ink here. Maybe, I think I saw something here. Block quotes. Yeah, could throw that into a block quote. Note. That real quick. Class. Note, I believe. It just changed the font a little bit. I thought it was going to put the box around it. A paragraph with a note is a smaller and lighter colored appearance. Block quotes. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I probably rambled on a bit there at the end. Next week, like I said, we'll get into forms. I'll probably clean up some of the CSS even more. I might do some of that kind of off camera and then just show you what I did. I don't want to bore you guys to death. Alright, until next week.